Hi there, it's Joe from Alarm Grid, and today we're going to talk about what dual path monitoring is. Now, the systems that we offer, most of them do have a dual path option on them. What dual path is, it means that the system has two methods of communication to signal outward. Today we're going to speak about the systems that we support on the Honeywell side and also the systems that we support on the Alarm.com side, as they both have dual path options. They just work slightly different, and it's better if you do know how your system actually does work. On Honeywell, most systems have a way to communicate over IP, either Wi-Fi or Ethernet, and when the system does have that option, that's going to be the primary communication path on that particular panel. Many Honeywell systems also have a way to add in a cellular module to the system, and with that installed, with the primary communication path, which is the IP setup, if that cellular module is added on, that's going to be the secondary communication path. The reason those are called primary and secondary is that the primary communication path is faster, as IP is faster than cellular, but it's also less reliable than a cellular connection, as the internet service in any given area can be subject to interruptions, and there's many other factors that can cause an issue, such as the router in the house or tons of other things. If that internet service or the internet IP path goes down, the system's going to automatically switch over to the cellular path and continue to signal. On Honeywell, this is great because not only does it allow it to keep signaling to central station, but it lets you connect to the system remotely if you do have a Total Connect 2.0 account set up on your panel. Different panels have a different way that this looks. Over here, we have a Vista 21 IP. This panel has an onboard Ethernet jack and an onboard cellular communicator, but with those both active, it will use dual path monitoring. It's going to use the Ethernet as the primary and switch to the cellular as the secondary. Now, if you look over here, the Links panel, this is an L7000. This can be very similar to the Vista system, as you can install a module inside of it that lets you connect it to an Ethernet network. It's just that if you do install the hardwired Ethernet module called the ILP5, you won't be able to install the cellular module in the system. The reason I bring this up is because if you do want to use dual path on the Lynx system, you're going to have to install the Wi-Fi module and then install the cellular module. You won't be able to use the Ethernet and the cellular at the same time. And to see why that is, I'm going to open the system up. Over here, this is the cellular module that we currently have installed. This is called the 3GL, and it works on the AT&T 3G network. The ILP5, which is the Ethernet module, this sits in the same area on the board, and they can't both be in the system at the same time. That's why. So if you are going to use dual path on your Lynx system, it's recommended, well, not only recommended, it's the only way you can do it, having the Wi-Fi module installed over here and then having the cellular module installed over here. Now, Alarm.com also offers dual path monitoring. It just works a little bit different. On an Alarm.com system, when the IP and the cellular path are both established, it's actually going to signal on both the communication paths, and the signal that reaches Alarm.com first is going to get processed, and the other one's going to be discarded. This is great because it's going to ensure that your system always is signaling on the fastest path available to Alarm.com, and as soon as that signal comes in, if the other communication path is down, in that signal, it's going to tell Alarm.com that that is the case. It's very similar to how Honeywell works. They both work great for their application. It's just that with Alarm.com, you're always going to ensure that the fastest signal is arriving to Alarm.com. There's some slight differences in the panels also. Up here we have the GC3, and right over here we have the IQ2. These are very similar with how they work with their dual path monitoring on Alarm.com, as both these panels have a built-in Wi-Fi module, and they both can use cellular communication. The IQ2 has a built-in cellular module, whereas the GC3 has a module that you have to add on, but they both will work exactly like that in a dual path setup. The GC2, on the other hand, you actually have to add on a device called the Go Bridge, which allows it to interface with an IP network. It doesn't have a built-in Wi-Fi module, and it doesn't have any other way other than that device to get it communicating on IP. If you do install the Go Bridge on the GC2 though, you can use it in a dual path setup, as this system lets you install an integrated cellular communicator right on the board. That's pretty much how dual path monitoring works. If you did have any questions, feel free to head over to the website, shoot us an email to support@alarmgrid.com, give us a call or jump on chat. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to subscribe. If you want to be updated about future videos when we do post them, click the notification button below and we'll send you an update. Thank you very much and have a great day.